We're usually pressed for time, so don't wait till the end of the session before you ask your question. If you have the question, please drop it on the chat. If you are a return member of the community, you are welcome. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. If this is your first time, thanks for joining. Welcome. We are eMigr8. We're a tech-enabled platform for relocation and settlement. All right. Our conversation is around tech. So tech-enabled platform for relocation and settlement. We've had series of conversations in the past that you find online and you find on our app, right? So if you are the first time, we encourage you to download our app. We have loads of resource information that you can use as regards relocation and settlement on our app, the eMigr8 app. Just go to your Apple Store or Google Play Store and you'll find it there. All right. Today we're talking about understanding and qualifying for the UK Global Talent Visa. All right. And we have Coach Chidima in the house, and we also have our AI coach in the house today that will share information that we can use. Right. We have different packages. We have different conversation going on, different campaign going on. One of them is settled in the UK as a tech talent. I'm going to speak to it in just a minute. But like I said, we have previous videos from previous eMigr8 Open Day available on our YouTube channel and on our app. So you can go to anywhere you find app. So your App Store, Google or Android, you download our app, you have all the information, all the sessions we've had, and you can binge on them. There are lots of information in those sessions. So if you're looking at migrating to the US or you know someone that is on that path, you can send them those videos and it can help answer some of the questions that they may have. If you're looking at moving to the UK, either as a founder, leveraging on the innovator founder visa or even a skilled worker visa, we have sessions that we've addressed topics around those migration. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding the global talent visa. All right. We expect a lot of questions. Last year was very busy for global talent. It was one of the year, just looking at the report that they sent, they got the most application came in last year, right? Many of the application coming in from Africa, right? A lot of in terms of increase in application coming in from Africa, right? But they also give a lot of how will I put it, rejection last year because as the case may be, is either you qualify or you don't qualify. So if you are one of those that applied last year and you got a not so favorable response, this is a good session for you. You can also appeal. The eMigr8 community also advise on appeal if you're appealing the decision that was made. Right, you have 28 days to apply or to appeal if you applied in December or you got a response in December, so you probably have stayed within the 28-day mark. Appeal is free, so we encourage you to take advantage of that and get the feedback from that appeal or get the endorsement from that appeal. Both are useful for your journey. All right. Understanding and qualifying for the global talent visa, the UK global talent visa. I talked about our app. If you go to emigrate.com/tech visa, you find all the information you need to know about eMigr8, and also you're able to download our app via that website. That's our official website, and you can download the app on Android Play Store and the Apple stores also, right? Talked about settling the UK as a tech talent. We have this package that combine multiple tech visa routes together to access the UK. Right. The beauty of this package is that it is beginner friendly and it's also expert friendly. You can move with your spouse, you can move with your dependent, you can move without getting a job from any employer, right? So you can move on your own terms. It involves time and your investment, right? And we say give us 3 to 6 months timeline, and we will get you through, right? So it's a campaign ongoing. It's a package ongoing. You want to send a message or drop a chat on the chat room, and we will connect with you and share more information regarding that. Subsequent editions or next editions, we're going to be looking at the Innovator Founder Visa, and also looking at Tech Nation and move to the US as the year progresses. So pay attention to our social media handles. We are going to be sharing information as regard the next session and who is coming on board. Right. Now, eMigr8. We are a tech platform, right? But what we do, our mission is to help you become globally attractive. So that's our mission. Our mission is to help you become globally attractive, leveraging on your tech profile or your tech-enabled business profile. All right. And the side effect of that really is the fact that countries would open their borders for you to come in, right? That means granting you visa. Some of the best visas you can get are tied to tech, right? But the primary aim is to make you globally attractive. We'll look at your journey, help you to tell your story, help you to present a solid application or a solid profile that is globally attractive. So you can be in your home country and decide to apply for a job in the US with the profile that we're going to curate with you and get a job and decide to work from your home country, or decide to move to the US or move to Canada or move to the UK as the case may be, right? Some of our services covers information sessions like this one. One of the things I typically say to people is that 85% of what we do at eMigr8 is free. Right, 85% of what we do is free. So these are free stuff. We are having our open day, the first for the year, and it's a free session. And you can ask questions, as many questions as you have, and we'll answer them free. So you have general inquiry session. We have coaching session and hand-holding session. So for those of us that are going to stay to the end of the call, we have gifts that we give and that you can activate as part of your journey. So you can activate those gifts to contribute to your journey to relocation. All right. So if you are on the call to the end, look out for that gift. Right. So we do assessment, we do roadmap to globally attractive tech profile. Right. We do self-directed roadmap to qualify you for any of the tech visas that you're looking at. We also review your global talent application or endorsement review process. So the endorsement review process is what I was talking about earlier, which is where you appeal whatever decision that you got, or maybe the not so favorable decision you got from Tech Nation. We can help you in putting a solid endorsement review application. All right. Like I said, 85% of what we do is free, right? But however, we do have premium services based on popular demand. People want personalized coaching session to be tailored around their schedule, their timing, their job, or their family schedules, right? So those premium services are paid for, right? So we have standard packages around those. We also have the eMigr8 Premium service, which is a full-fledged 1 to 2 year program that can take you from a beginner level to a point where you are globally attractive. So for someone that is looking to switch to tech, this is a fantastic package you can plug into. We have custom service already for people that are already in tech or people that want to switch from any business field or from any career field into tech. Now, the best place to start is go to emigrate.visa.com/tech visa, pardon me. And you will find a short form there. What we want to know is who you are, what you do, and where you are at on your journey. And we're able to connect you with the right information that you need to get to your destination. All right. So emigrate.visa.com/tech visa. All right. We have several packages within the eMigr8 community that we speak to. For these packages, we have coaches, and coaches are people that have walked this path. They have applied for this visa, they've gotten it, and they're now using their experience to teach people on how to dot their I's and cross their T when it comes to applying for tech visa and applying for some of these specific visa. Now, I'll come back to that to elaborate on them. But I want to talk about our community. So we have a vibrant community on WhatsApp, Telegram, and Facebook, and also on LinkedIn. We also have a good community on YouTube where we share information. We have coaches on this platform always answering questions, always sharing information. But beyond that, we have peer review processes where individuals that are on the same journey can answer questions, can ask questions, and can also suggest answers to themselves or to the community, where you can learn from everybody. All right, so that's the beauty of a community. We'll share the link to the community for those that are interested in joining. We invite everyone to be part of our community. But what we also ask is that you engage when you're on the community. So you like, you share, you comment in the community, ask questions, but we ask that you are brief and brilliant so that we can get to the meat of what you're asking, to the core of your questions, and we can provide a quick answer. Because it's a WhatsApp community, there's a lot of people trying to ask their own questions too, or it's a Telegram community, as the case may be. All right. We do have a campaign ongoing around our app. So I'll just go straight to it. So if you have downloaded the eMigr8 app and you've used it for straight 7 days, right, you qualify for you're going to earn a free coaching session. So for those of you that have the app, if you've used it consistently from Monday through to Sunday, or from Sunday through to Saturday, right, every day of a particular week, you qualify for a free coaching session. So if I was you and you're new on the call, or you've been on the call before, you want to download this, you can use the coaching session to ask questions around whatever visa process that you're interested in. All right, so it's a fantastic channel to get information. The app itself, there are loads of video information, articles, testimonials, just information from coaches, questions that have been answered in the past that you can easily just find and use. And also, we have a referral campaign going on. This started from about last year towards the end of the year, and we have kept it running into the new year. So if you refer your friend, you stand a chance of winning or earning £35. Both you and your friend can earn £35 if you refer anyone on the package, for a particular package, for the eMigr8, for any of the eMigr8 packages, right? So it's limited in offer, right? There are terms and conditions. So please do well to refer somebody and you can earn £35, or do it in, invite and influence a lot of people and you can earn a lot of money. The good news is that both you and the person being referred stand a chance of winning £35. There's no cap to how many people you can invite, by the way. Right. So how do you say, we do have a survey going on, right? In the eMigr8 community, we call it the eMigr8 survey. So do help us complete the survey, right? We'll share the link on the chat. Just a short survey. We just want to get feedback to know where you found about us, how you are finding the community, how you are finding the information that we're sharing. It will help us to connect with you better and help us to give you the right information that you need. So, right, be kind to us and be kind to the community by filling our survey form. All right, so eMigr8 is a platform. Like I said to you guys, our core purpose is to make you globally attractive. That's our mission, right? In doing this, we have partnership with sister companies that are on the same path with us. And one of such is the Bincom Dev Center. It's a technology hub where you can learn skill, build your talent as a beginner or as an intermediate in any field of digital technology. Right. So one of the programs that Bincom Dev Center offer is the Bincom Global Tech Program. Now, the promise of value for this program is the fact that you're going to learn skill, you're going to get exposure, and you're going to get experience. So you're learning skills, you're getting experience working on real life projects, and you're getting exposure because you are working on real life projects. Many of them are client-facing projects. So you're going to get exposure on how to navigate, platforms, talk to clients, if you're in the business arm, if you're a developer, how to be a front end and back end developer, full stack developer, as we like to call it. It's an opportunity to learn, right? So if you are a beginner, this is fantastic for you. If you're a self-learner, you've started learning by yourself on your own, you want to join a community where you can gain experience by working on real life projects. So this also is a fantastic platform for you. Go to bincom.net/global tech, all right, and register for the next cohort, all right. It is budget friendly, and you have, all the resource at your fingertips to become globally attractive on this program. Now, if you're already in the UK and you're looking for how to switch your visa, or you're looking for a pathway to landing a tech visa, right? This is for you, right? To become a tech talent, if you are not in the tech field already and you're looking for how do I switch to tech, so this is for you, right? We have this program running where we're going to train you in tech. You're going to learn tech. You're going to be connected to coaches, tech career coaches. We're also going to be connected to mentors and individuals who would teach you on how to navigate the tech ecosystem in the UK. So for example, you're looking for an apprenticeship opportunity, you're looking for a job, and you need advice on whatever field. This package is for you. It comes very subsidized at £1,000 for 3 months, right? And in those 3 months, we guarantee you that you have some growth, significant growth on your journey, right? It's a pathway to landing a tech visa also. So if you have skills, tech talent skills, we can connect you to the right job so you can get the skilled worker visa in tech and subsequently move to the global talent visa in tech if that is your goal. All right. So if you go to bincom.net/global tech or send a message to the number on the screen that you're looking at, 447-8599 46409 is the number. Just send a WhatsApp message to that number or go to the website. We'll be able to give you more information with regards to this package. All right. Fantastic. So most of the visa routes from experience and from conversations that we've had are always looking for opportunities where you have given back to the society. So have you been a mentor? Have you mentored a group or an individual? Have you been recognized as a mentor in your field, as a thought leader in your field, right? So being a mentor is one of the lowest hanging fruit that you can simply just get if you are already experienced in tech. Right. So we have a platform called the Bincom Mentoring Platform where we connect mentors to mentees. And if you are a tech enthusiast in the room or you're a beginner in the room or you're switching into tech, you need a mentor to guide you in that path. Right. This is a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic platform to connect to where we can match you with a mentor, right? So go to bincom.net/mentorship, mentor registration, I beg your pardon. That's where you want to go to sign up, and we can introduce you to a mentor. We just want to know who you are, what you're looking to achieve, and where you are on your journey so that we can pair you up with the right resource, with the right person that can mentor you. Right. All right. Last by Bincom, right? This is a product-led digital technology platform where you can build a product with a team. Now, it's a cohort that runs for 3 to 6 months, right? You come together, a group of people come together, identify a problem within society that they want to solve for the problem by building a startup, right? Building a product that is solving for that problem, and they take that product to market. So it's a practical learning experience, all right, and a practical learning opportunity to improve your career chances and to improve your portfolio generally as a techie. So if you're looking for an opportunity, one of the things you quickly recognize if you're looking at the Global Talent Visa is the fact that they are looking at people that have built tech-enabled products, products being the core, a revenue-driven product, a product being the core of what they are looking out for. They are not looking for consultants. They are not looking for service guys that have been in the service arm of tech, right? They're looking for people that have actually built products and taken product to market, right? So this is a fantastic opportunity. So if you're in the service industry or service arm of tech, or you're in consulting, right, you want to take advantage of this to get your hands into the weave of ins and out of building a tech product, from ideation, all right, to product development proper, to project management of the project, of the product itself, to user engagement and user analysis, understanding the market and product launch, go-to-market strategy. All these elements comes to play in this platform. So it's called Labs by Beacom, where you build an actual product that you can take to the market. You can add this product to your CV. You can add it to your portfolio if you're looking for a job. All right. If you're looking to relocate, you can add this as part of your optional or mandatory criteria for global talent visa or for any of the talent visas that you are exploring. So I recommend this. If you go to beacom.net/labs, right, you can register there and you will be connected to the administrator who will add you to the next cohort. I think they have a cohort for this quarter. You want to jump into that as soon as possible. It's very competitive, and so you want to be part of that. Tech career coaching service. This is open for anyone that's looking for a job in the tech field, right? In any market, you want to land your next tech role, right? You want to connect with us. You want to know what is the relevant experience you need to build in your target country. You want to connect with tech recruiters in your target countries, and you're looking at jobs with sponsorship, right? You want to connect with this platform. If you go to beacom.net /tech career coaching, it's available also for premium members of the eMigr8 community. It's a paid service, right? So once you connect, we'll put you through with all the information you need and connect you with the right coaches, the right resource that you need to excel on your journey. All right. So this is a screenshot or a snapshot of the visas that we speak to, the packages that we speak to here at eMigr8. Right. We speak to talent visas, we speak to startup visa, we speak to work-based or employment visas, we speak to digital nomad visas, right, from this country and many others actually, right? So for the UK, for startup visa, you have the UK Innovator Founder Visa. It used to be called the Entrepreneur Visa, then it became the Startup Visa, and in 2023, it became the UK Innovator Founder Visa, right? We also speak to the International Entrepreneurial Paro Visa for the US. For Canada, we have a session, we've had sessions speaking to these various visas. For Canada, we speak to the Canadian Startup Visa, right? We have coaches and partnership that would help you access this visa with little or no stress, as the case may be, right? So you want to take advantage of this, any of this visa route that you're interested in, please let us know and we can connect you with the resource that you need. Today, we're talking about the global talent visa. So we're speaking to talent visas today, focusing on the global talent visa for the UK, right? We've spoken about the global talent visa for Australia before now. We've spoken about the O1 visa for the US, which is the individual with extraordinary ability visa for the US. Before now, and we have those resources on our app, so you can find them if you go to our app. You'll find those information. We also have the work-based our employment visa. So we've spoken extensively to the skilled worker visa for the UK. We've also spoken to the EB1, EB2, IW visa and H1 visa for the US. Right, we have resource, we have videos on our app that you can watch and get on all the information that speaks directly to that. You can also go online. So most of these visa are not all of them are online. You can Google them, you can research about them. However, we have coaches who can help you interpret some of the English, I like to say, that they are speaking on those websites to make it plain, to make it digestible, basically, and help you put your best foot forward. So yeah, this is not the entire landscape we speak to. We just put this in front of you to give you an idea of what you can talk about. So you can connect with us, talk about startup visa, and we can explore all the startup visa that we have ongoing, and we can talk about talent visa. We can talk about digital nomad visa. Right. So there are countries like Malta, Portugal, Spain that issue digital nomad visas, and we speak to those as well. So if you're interested in them, we have the Canadian temporary permit that allows you work in Canada. Right. We also have the international agreement visa, which is a temporary work visa for the UK. Now, if you are not, if you are in tech and you want to explore further, we also have the self sponsorship route visa that we can put you through. We had a session extensively at some point last year where we talked about that. We also have the French tech visa. Now, you can take a screenshot of the slide and do your research on any one of the visas. And if you have any question, then come to the community, ask the question, and we'll answer it for free, right? So it's part of the free service that we offer at eMigr8. All right. So the question is for most of us in the room is, you know, I don't qualify for any of those visa, right? But we beg to differ, right? Because the common denominator for all these visa is that be globally attractive. And I've explained how to become globally attractive, with the Bincom Global Tech program, with the Last by Bincom program that Bincom have put together. Those programs are all geared towards making you globally attractive, right? And if you commit to a 6 months to 12 months, if you're a beginner process, you would get further along on that journey to becoming globally attractive. If you're an expert in the room, you already found out that you are globally attractive, right? Some of the visa or most of the visa we speak to are dependent friendly, right? Some of the benefits, they are dependent friendly, so you can move with your family, right? They give you pathway to settlement, right? But we are focused on tech, so we speak to tech-enabled opportunities, right? And they are budget friendly also. Our visas or the packages we speak to are budget friendly. You can work we can connect you to tech recruiters, or you can decide to move and have your own limited company registered in the country you're going to. So it's friend. Most of the visas are friendly to that respect. So these are some of the benefits, right, that exist within the visa landscape that we speak to. We do have an article on our app, and we can also share the link with you right here that just speaks to the changes that happened in the tech-enabled visa landscape, right? That some of the informations that you can use. So one of such information, for example, is that the Global Talent Visa probably will be getting a new endorsing body this month, right? Probably because there was a bidding process that went on last year, and the organizing body says they are going to announce the new endorsing body, but Tech Nation is still the endorsing body till the new endorsing body will be announced. Just to put the context, Tech Nation is the endorsing body for Global Talent Visa for digital technology, right? So that at the moment, they are the endorsing body. But however, I think about 2023, there was a bidding process that went on, and that has rolled over. We're waiting for the new body to be announced, the new endorsing body to be announced. However, the Global Talent Visa for digital technology is here to stay, right? It's not going anywhere. It's just the endorsing body that we will find out if we have a new one or if Tech Nation is going to continue at some point this month, right? So such informations, we have put them together, just to explain to you what has been happening or what has happened in the tech space, and you can use that information to project what the future looks like and decide if you want to jump in now or later. All right. If you say I don't qualify, we have a coach in the house who is going to speak to her experience, her journey, right, in tech. And hopefully when we are done, you will see that there are similarities. Maybe you'll find similarities on a journey, and you can find inspiration on a journey, right? And you can take that from there to be motivated to apply for the Global Talent Visa. So we have Coach Chidima in the room, and I'm going to be calling on her shortly. But if you are a beginner in the room, I'm just waiting for Chidima to get a video on. If you're a beginner in the room, right, and you're wondering, how do I start my journey to becoming globally attractive? Put a message on the chat. We can connect with you, and we will be able to schedule a session where we will design a personalized roadmap, right, for newbie that will take you from being a newbie to a beginner to intermediate and to an expert level, right? All we ask from you is your commitment to that roadmap, right, so that you can become globally attractive. So that's our promise to you, that you become globally attractive. All we're asking is your commitment to that personalized roadmap, right? So that's for beginners in the room. Hi, Coach Chidima. Are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Let me know if you can see me because my video has been on. So
Oh, okay, my bad.
can you see me there?
All right, yes, I can. I
Okay,
can.
perfect. Thank you.
Fantastic. So you're welcome, and I will give you the floor now to share your journey with us. Let us know the in and outs, how the challenges, how you surmounted them. But start by telling us how you got into tech in the first place, because we know as an MBA candidate, tech might not have been in the equation, but tech might have been in the equation. So let's get to meet you and tell us about your journey.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here. Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Chidinma Aroyewun, but everybody or most people call me Chidi. So if you find yourself calling me Chidi, that's fine as well. I think the right place to start, like he rightly said, is just to maybe give you a background. I think it's best to just run through. And if you find me looking away from the screen, it's just because I've made some notes of some points that I feel like it's important to share with you, and I wouldn't like to miss any of them. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that there. So like I said, for starters, I think it's usually best to begin to run through like my background pre-endorsement and pre my journey to the UK, because I feel like what one of those can do for you is to help you get some context and help me maybe answer some questions that you might have later for me. So talking about how I began or my life before this journey or the journey through the UK, basically. Um, Before moving to the UK or prior, I have a background in economics or commercial background. So primarily starting from a graduate degree in economics and down to a career where I basically was in the commercial industry. I mean, in the commercial space, but practically in tech. So in other words, before my journey to the UK or through the UK, I was primarily in the commercial area. So basically leading commercial sales primarily. I mean, when you hear commercial, a lot of people think finance. So I started my career in sales, but in the software as a service industry. So primarily leading customer acquisition and selling to new customer and introducing new technologies to businesses within and outside Nigeria. I did that for a while and then moved into payments. So fintech, primarily payments. But this time around, I pivoted away from sales a bit and I went into marketing. And that's when I started like my marketing career typically. I moved away from that after a while, and then I went into telecommunications value added services. Again, a bit of tech, but primarily commercial. So in terms of like what I did for most of these organizations, it was primarily in the commercial space and in most times operational as well. So marketing and selling, or a combination of both, depending on where it was. And then after a while, I moved away from telecom VAS, and then I went into fintech or payment again. And that I did in a more broader scale or larger scale, where I was leading the whole operations for a fintech company that was Pan-African, but based in Nigeria. So primarily leading the country management for a fintech company based in Nigeria. So in other words, or to cut the long story short, I think the whole point of introducing that pre-life to you is to help you understand what my life was, and where I was in terms of my tech journey and my journey as an individual before my journey to the UK. Now that I have put that away and I've addressed that, one of the questions that a lot of people ask me is why MBA, and why did you decide to study in the UK, or what led you to the MBA, or how did you get the admission, and how did you maneuver, and what did you decide to do, or what led you to decide that you wanted to study abroad or move abroad at some point in your career. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do after I graduated university was that I wanted to actually acquire a master's degree. I wasn't sure what it was going to be at the time, but I really wanted to acquire a master's degree. 5 years down the line, I find out I was still putting it away and putting it away and putting it away. I would often get admission and then it would just go away. Something would come and maybe distract me. And sometimes it would just not be the kind of offer that I really wanted or what I really wanted to do. So I'll sweep it under the carpet and move on. Anyways, in 2019, I told myself that I was going to go back and revisit it. So I decided to return to, apply to some universities within and outside the UK. But predominantly, my focus on the UK was because at the time or prior, if you remember, I told you about how I started my decision to study. I had explored other countries, the US, Canada, And in most cases, or in all cases, I got accepted and I visited these countries before. So my chances of getting study visa was super high. But then again, one of the challenges or that I experienced or that I thought I was going to face as a person was most of these countries, especially the US particularly, their student visa policies, I didn't feel like they didn't feel like it was family friendly. And I wanted to be able to carry my family along in that journey. So I decided on the UK primarily because of that at the time. Anyway, 2019, I applied to several schools and I eventually got accepted into university in the UK. But guess what? 2020 happened, and there you go again, COVID, another wedge in the works, something else to distract me or stop me from going ahead. So I was faced with deciding on whether I wanted to carry on with my decision or the journey to go and proceed with my academics in the middle of a pandemic. So after talking about it and thinking about it for a very long time, I decided to carry on with it. So 2020, I got admission to study an MBA at the University of Exeter, where I graduated from. But the beauty of that was, I think, for several factors and for so many things that were happening at that time, and that's inclusive of my previous experience and my application and everything that came together. I was also not able only to secure my dream course, but I was also able to attend the school that I had in my radar for about 10 years. And in addition to that, I got a 70% scholarship to study at the school from the university. So it wasn't a scholarship from any of those charity organizations that you know. It was a scholarship directly from the university. And the reason for offering me the scholarship, according to them, was because the quality of my application was really great and they really would have loved me to or would love me to attend or study with them. Anyways, I started my journey through the MBA. And luckily for me, due to COVID and as a result of the pandemic, the several immigration policies at the time were very favorable to me. So I made a list of some of the things I'd like to talk about, starting with like introducing my journey to the UK as a student, which I've just done, and how I arrived in the UK. So basically, I was supposed to start studying in September 2020, and my family arrived in the UK a little after that. Again, because of the pandemic, a lot of things were moved over, so I could arrive a little after. I mean, we arrived, and after like scoping the environment, like you say in Nigeria, after looking at the environment and observing a few things, we decided that we wanted to return to Nigeria. So we only got our documentation and we returned back to Nigeria. So long story short, I got into the country to study, but then again, for some miraculous reason, I don't know if you consider COVID miracle, but for some reason, interestingly, I was able to continue studying remotely, and that allowed me to continue working or to continue or carry on with my full-time job, which I still had in Nigeria, and to the knowledge of my employer, who also knew that I was studying at the time. So thanks to COVID and thanks to the immigration policies that came with COVID, I was able to carry on working and still carry on with my full-time study at the same time, and none of them was interrupted. And as things will have it, COVID just kept on and kept on, and immigration policies kept changing and changing. So much so that I eventually ended up studying or completing a full-time one-year MBA, nearly remotely. So when I say nearly remotely, I only arrived in the UK like a few months to the end of the program. And I will explain at the end why I'm taking my time to talk about some of these things. Then just being able to leverage that remote study meant that I could also keep my full-time job and my family could also continue their life in Nigeria while still enjoying the benefit of being a full-time student in the UK and still qualifying for the post-study visa, right? So yeah, I carried on and I graduated in 2021. Post-graduation, I was faced with two decisions. Oh, something I missed. A couple of months before or down the line, I got a job with a UK organization. Again, while still based in Nigeria and while still doing or carrying on with my life in Nigeria. I got a job with an organization that was based here, and they were happy for me to continue working remotely. So that meant that not only was I studying remotely as a student full time and still getting all of that benefits, I was now also able to earn foreign exchange and still able to maintain or continue my life in Nigeria without anything being interrupted. Anyway, so I graduated and then that transitioned into like a full-time job, or my employer at the time allowed me to carry on and work full-time. They made me a full-time offer. And then post-graduation, I was faced with two decisions. Decision number one was, do I carry on with a post-study work visa, or do I go the route of maybe accepting the sponsorship that at the time I was considering from an employer who had actually offered me that? I sought counsel from a couple of people, including my department heads at the university that I studied. And at the end, I made a decision to carry on. And this is also based on like advice and recommendations that I got. I made a decision to carry on with the post-study work visa. And again, if you have any questions on why I did that, please leave it in the comments and I can address it. I'll just try not to like double into too much things that are not relevant so that I can leave enough time for the things that you're looking forward to hearing. So yeah, I did that. But one of the things that I'd like to point out here and that I think is important through my journey was during my studies, I was really engaged. I was a student that was really engaging in all my academics. So that meant that I was involved in class. I was always having conversations. I built relationships. And I literally ensured that being a remote student did not prevent me from doing the things that I would have loved to do or that I would have done if I was in person in the UK. And that include building a close relationship with my classmates, my teachers, my professors, and people in between that. And in addition to that, I was also very engaging in class. A lot of people, a lot of the mistakes that a lot of people in my set or in my time made was as a result of the online classes, so many people will turn off their videos and go away and do something and just carry on with classes. And that means that you were not visible. And a lot of times, not being visible also comes with like its own challenges. But I was a visible, I was a visible student. That meant that I was always engaging in classes. I was always communicating and all of that. Now, that also presented its own opportunities in its own ways that also improved or helped with my global talent application. And I'll talk about it when I get into global talent, into my application. So post MBA, in terms of my transition, I converted into full-time studies. I was still living in Nigeria. That meant that I continued to earn in foreign currency, in pounds, while still living in Nigeria and still carrying on with my life in Nigeria. I did that for a while, but then my family was faced with that decision and we decided we were trying to decide on what to do, whether to carry on living there or just move down here because of the visa policies that then started changing at that time. And then along the line, I decided, or after I received the post-study work visa and put the post-study, work visa, I was in a place where I was calm and collected, and I then needed to make decisions on what next to do in terms of my visa status and those kind of things. Then I decided to apply for the global talent visa. Recall, prior to my move to the UK or my UK journey, I had commercial background. I have a background in purely sales and marketing, but a bit of, or predominantly within the tech industry. This is an important point for anyone who thinks or is starting to think that it happened by magic. It didn't. So I had a bit of background, but then again, I built up on a lot of things. So part of what I benefited, or one of the things that came as a student who was very visible and who was very engaged, was that my lecturers identified the skills that I had within me and started getting me involved in things. One of the things that I was able to do while I was at the university was I was one of the Black women during my time who spoke for the business school or who spoke during an event for the business school, talking about women on an International Women's Day and what women go through in the various parts of the world, including Africa. So being on that event or being featured on that event just gave me an extra level of credibility beyond my experience pre-migration, but now within the UK, just showing my ability. In addition to that, I also got offered the opportunity to mentor other master's degree students who were actually taking courses that were relevant to some of the courses that my lecturers found that I was really good at and thought that I could mentor them. So I took on those mentorships, and guess what? Some of those students came out with A's in their courses, which also then gave me extra credit. Notice that one of the things that I did at this time was, in addition to just gathering up and putting all of these things together, I made notes. So I took documentation and I made sure to like have communications and conversations to understand first and foremost what the outcome of each impact action that I took was. For example, where I mentor students, I went back to find out how they performed, how they did, etc., just to help me understand how I was doing in terms of my ability to support others. But then again, also help me build some extra level of credibility and evidence. At this time, honestly, I didn't even know it was evidence because all I was doing was just leveraging my skill and my talent and my ability to mentor others and help others become better. So I decided to apply for the Global Talent Visa. I'm not giving tabs of time, so please let me know when I'm running over. So I decided to apply for the Global Talent Visa, and leveraging all of the experience that I had pre-migration and now within the UK, I was able to put forward evidences that basically addressed nearly every interest area or every important criteria that the global talent visa needed me to address. And even more, sometimes I used to tell people that I feel like I overproduced information, but just being involved beyond where I was at the time and just being active and engaging whilst in Nigeria and whilst I was now in the UK, or at least remotely, like anyone would say, it just gave me that extra edge that I needed to apply for the global talent visa. So I put together my evidences. I wrote my personal statement, which this time was purely backed with evidences, not just with what I had achieved in Nigeria in the tech industry as a commercial leader, but this time also showing evidences of first what I've achieved so far in the 1 year that I've been remote in the UK and the things that I have the potential to achieve, including speaking at future MBA classes and being featured in various contents and events within the UK. So that gave me an extra edge. But I feel like none of that could have happened if I didn't, one, take the decision to approach or embrace the opportunity to study at the time that I did, given the circumstances and the challenges that COVID provided or posed at the time, which ended up working somehow in my favor. I think the other thing that I did was I decided to also be involved, regardless of like the challenges or the distance or the limitations. Obviously, if you're in Nigeria, you know one of the limitations is connection and internet, right? So regardless of the limitations that it presented me as a person, and for everyone who I didn't mention to, I'm a wife and a mom. So think about your life in Lagos, a wife and a mom with a full-time job, a full-time education, and still somehow you're able to like maneuver all of those things, right? So somehow I feel like being engaging and engaged in class also helped provide or produce me those extra opportunities that then served like the icing on the cake that I needed to present my evidence for the endorsement. So I applied and I got the endorsement within 10 days of my application, and I went ahead to apply for visa itself, and I got issued the exceptional talent visa. So yeah, I don't know if that speaks to everything, but for a bit of a conclusion, I think a friend of mine who is familiar with my story, she kind of summarizes my story in 4 ways. And I think I'll just read it out the same way she wrote it out to me so that you guys can maybe hear what she says. She said, number one, you leverage the advantage of COVID that COVID provided you. You didn't insist on maintaining the cost of living in the UK when you can still live in Nigeria and be remotely resident in the UK. You visited the UK to do your survey to weigh what's best for you and your family. This is brilliant. Number three, even while in Nigeria, you were still actively building your credit, which is something that I did. So I kept building my credit score, and that also allowed us to like qualify to be able to do things that we needed credit score to do, for example, purchase properties and things like that early on before anyone else. She said, even while in Nigeria, you were actively building your credit. Anyway, I'll try not to read this one, but that one says the Igbo woman in you was active. You made money while you were away. And then finally says you must be good at what you do to get rolled during the pandemic. And they liked you enough to make you full-time. And you had immediately maneuvered, and you had immediate, medium, and long-term plans. Anyway, to summarize the session, I think one of the things that I encourage anyone who's looking to go through this journey, who's considering it and thinking of pathway that can lead them through this journey, one of the things I can tell you is you need to have technical skills. And I hope this addresses some of the questions that are already popping out. You need to have technical skills, and you need to understand how deep and wide they go to help you understand or evaluate yourself and understand where you are on the journey and how far further along you need to be. The second thing you need to do is to have like how much of yourself you understand, be able to document your process, your journey, have a record, no matter how small it is. It's easier for anyone to say, oh yeah, you planned it all out and therefore you were planning for it. It was never a plan. It was things that happened as we went along. But because I had like a record and there was opportunities that I embraced and I put myself forward, I was able to take advantage of each of those opportunities that came. So be able to document your journey, your processes, your wins, your successes. All of these things play a role, no matter how small they are, no matter how, I'm sure you must have heard it from 1,000,001 people, including Buddy and the team. Document, 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 no matter how small they are. It could be a small note, it could be an email, it could be screenshot somewhere that you have saved for something like this, if it's something you're planning to do. And finally, know how well you can leverage your current situation, be able to leverage it effectively. Your experience, your relationships, your network, wherever you are currently, leverage it effectively. One of the things that I didn't mention was one of the requirements for the global talent visa was that I needed to provide three reference letters from three top influencers in Nigeria in the tech industry. Now, one of those reference letters came from my first ever boss, like the first person I ever worked with in my career. Imagine for a second that I burned the bridges there. Think about what could have happened. So being able to leverage experiences, relationships, network, they come in really handy, and they will eventually help you build the portfolio that you need to increase your chance to getting your endorsement. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to inspire you, not convince or confuse you, but inspire you. Yeah, that's me. Thank you very much. And let me know if you have any questions. I've tried to stick with the time,
It's
but
fine.
if there's
It's
anything
fine.
I missed.
No, no, you did amazingly well. You did so much better than I would have done with the time given. Thank you very much. We'll allow you catch your breath now. Please pop your questions in the chat. All right. Coach Chidima is still around, right? We'll know now she's a wife and a mother, so she's not going to spend a lot of time with us. So please put your question in the chat so that we can get to it. But while we still have you asking this question, I want to invite Coach Badi now to come on board to talk about eMigr8.ai, the AI platform that eMigr8 is building. So that will give you enough time to ask more questions. Then we'll come back to the question in another 10 to 15 minutes. Hello, buddy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Good
You're
evening,
welcome.
good morning, good afternoon, maybe even good night, depending on where you're joining from. For this section is actually more of a practical section than anything else, because we are really proud to announce eMigr8.ai. My colleagues will drop the link in the chat. And eMigr8.ai is the AI for talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. This is something we've been working on for many, many months. And we're excited to start showing our community a taster of what eMigr8.ai is. eMigr8.ai is a part of the old eMigr8 platform that you already belong to. You're already on this edition of eMigr8 Open Day, which means you're already a part of our community. And as Moody introduced earlier, eMigr8 focuses on a pathway to relocation and settlement. But that's just a little bit of what it is that we are focused on eMigr8. At eMigr8, what we believe is that if you are globally attractive, you have options of anywhere in the world for you to live in, move to, and maybe even work in. The reason is because many countries of the world want you to come to their jurisdiction if and only if you can show that you are a talent. You're a talent that will be able to add value to their economy. And this is what we help you discover, qualify for, and also operate in the eMigr8 platform. If you are globally attractive, you have options. You have options of staying in your home economy and contributing globally. You have options of staying in your home economy and maybe working remotely. Chidima mentioned that during our conversation. You have options of moving to a new jurisdiction and continuing to add value. And you have options of even moving back to your home economy at any point in time in your career or in your journey. But that is only if you are globally attractive. All of this, though, is part of what we help you build on the eMigr8 platform. We've done that in different ways over the months and years that we've been building eMigr8. We've done things like the eMigr8 Open Day. We've released things like the eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. You have access to the eMigr8 app. You have access to several different options, premium resources, free video resources, access to coaching sessions, and several other things like that that would help your journey from wherever level you are today to the point where you become globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have options of some of these visas. And I know for some of us, you are wondering, buddy, what are you talking about? I'm only here because I need a visa right now. For some people, yes, it may also be a case of, oh, I've got 1 year for me to figure out what I need to do next. But what we are saying to you is that within 6 months, within 9 months, if you focus on a particular journey, you would become globally attractive, but first of all, qualifying for specific visa pathways along the way. We were talking about the UK today, and there are about 5 different pathways that are available on the eMigr8 platform today that you can look at, you can explore. Our focus during today's session is the UK Global Talent Visa. But then there are options like the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the UK Skilled Worker Visa, the UK Self-Sponsorship Route. And eMigr8 has a premium package that is the settle in the UK package. All of these are available on the eMigr8 platform. Aside from the last one that I mentioned, every other one also we have free offerings that is able to help your journey. And so with the UK Global Talent Visa, there are free offerings because we run a freemium model on the eMigr8 platform. There are free offerings that are able to help you based on where you are today to when you could qualify over a period of time. And when you do qualify, we also guide you, coach you to make a viable application. Because one of the things that some people find out is that they do not get endorsed, not because they are not qualified, but because they don't put their best story forward. They don't show the very best version of themselves. All of this is what we help you with on the eMigr8 platform. And so we are announcing eMigr8 AI. We've had it around for a while. If you already have the eMigr8 app, you are able to chat with eMigr8 AI and what you can do. And for those of us on the session, or if you're watching the replay video, we're inviting you to have a conversation with the AI. We are a long way to go for it to be perfect, but we're happy to share with you what we have at this moment. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the things you'll be able to do today with eMigr8 AI and some of the things that you will be able to do in the future with eMigr8 AI. But let me just finalize what I was saying about the platform to say for us at eMigr8, we are looking at 3 key pillars to help you. I mentioned different visa pathway for the UK Global Talent Visa. We support that on the platform, both on the free side and on the premium side. UK Innovator Founder Visa, which is where you need to show an idea that is adjudged innovative, viable, and scalable. And also, you need to show yourself as a genuine founder. So that is supported on the platform. We have free offerings and we have paid offerings in terms of support. Over 80% of what we do on the platform is actually free. And eMigr8 AI, we have a free option and the premium option as well. With the UK Skilled Worker Visa, you will need to land a role that would give you access to sponsorship in the right occupation code. And very recently in the UK, you also need to earn a salary at a threshold of about £40,000 and above. There's a pathway to help you get there over a period of time. And all of this is part of what we support on the eMigr8 platform, both on the free side and on the premium side. And also with the UK self-sponsorship route. The self-sponsorship route is not a visa by itself. The visa you would get is the UK Skilled Worker Visa, but you will be your own employer. And so the way that works is that you create a company in the UK. That company gets the certificate of sponsorship, and that company is able to sponsor you as its own employee or as the employee of the company in the UK. All of these is available on the platform. And this is perfectly legal. We don't do anything illegal on the platform. The Home Office is aware of it. They will be clear that you are the director and the owner of your own company. But this is possible, and this is a pathway you may want to explore as well, depending on where you are on your journey, depending on what you already qualify for. We also have a package on the platform, which is called the UK Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent. Now, this pathway is better than the student visa route because once you move to the UK, your stay starts counting towards settlement from day one. Also, you are able to work full-time as a primary applicant from day one in the UK, and you can move with your family. What we do with that package is we actually target your profile to 3 UK visas, the first 3 I mentioned earlier, at the same time. If you're an absolute beginner in the field of technology, within 1 to 2 years, you can qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa. I'll say that again. If you're an absolute beginner in the field of tech, within 1 to 2 years, you can qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa. But there's a pathway you would have to take. There is work that you have to put in. There are things that you have to track. There are different things that you will need to ensure that you are ticking the boxes for as you take that journey. All of this is what we support you on with the eMigr8 platform. And with the Settle in the UK package, it's one of our premium package that comes with the eMigr8 guarantee. And we believe is much better than the UK student visa route. If your objective is just relocation and or settlement, if you're looking for the masters because you're looking further your study, fantastic. But if the reason why you're looking at that student route is because you want to relocate and settle, we are saying to you that there may be optimal options that you should explore first. Also, if you're already in the field of tech, your journey may even be much shorter. If you have transferable skills, meaning that you've done other things in the past, because even if you're not in the field of tech today and you've done sales before, sales is sales. You can transfer that skill to the field of tech. And then finally, if you have startup experience, either as a founder or you've worked in a startup before, your journey may even be much shorter still. But these are options for the UK that I've mentioned. Because on the platform, we have options for many other countries as well. We have options in the US O1 visa, US EB1 visa. You have US EB2 NIW visa. Some people are not still aware that if you have a UK master's, you are very likely close to qualifying for the US EB2, particularly the NIW, National Interest Waiver. We have options for France. We have options for Australia. We have options for Germany and several other options on the platform. And so I'm hoping that some of us have already started taking a look at eMigr8.ai because that's what I'm introducing. And I'm hoping that you are going to be chatting with our AI bot to support your journey. 3 key pillars that we are focused on the eMigr8 platform. The first one is around information, inspiration, and education. The second is around talent, mobility, and road mapping. And the third is around integration and support. With information and inspiration and education, what we seek to do is to help you understand what your profile needs to look like. Understand that when they say global talent, they are talking about you. They are not talking about your friend. They are not talking about someone that has won the Nobel Prize. They are talking about you. But then I said that for you to qualify, there's a journey. For you to put in a viable application, there is a journey. And so you may need access to road mapping, building a plan for yourself, which is the first place we usually recommend everybody in the community to do. Have a plan, write it down, note down what that plan involves, because they've told you what your profile should look like for you to qualify. And so you can do a self-assessment, or if you need a bit of support, we have premium options where a coach can help with the assessment, but you can start with a self-assessment of these are the requirements, this is where I am now, how do I get there? And then you can work with things like building roadmaps and so on for you to be able to get there. All of these are available on the platform. And finally, integration and support. Today on the eMigr8 platform, what we do have available on the eMigr8.ai specifically is information at the moment. Our inspiration is not quite there, and education is also doing well at the moment on the platform. But we continue to build, and we're asking you, our community members, to say, use this platform, take a look at it, give us feedback. The way it works is that eventually you will be able to do things like eligibility tests. You put in your profile and you will be able to get some more feedback from the AI. You'll be able to do things like analysis of your potential. You'll be able to do a what if scenario on the platform. You'll be able to receive personalized roadmap in minutes. You'll be able to build complex goals and several others like that. Many of these are things we currently support with on the platform, and we do that mostly on the premium side with a one-to-one session with our coaches on the eMigr8 platform. But what we are saying is that we are building all of this to support your journey, and many of these will be available to you at no significant cost to you, or in some cases at no cost to you at all. And so it's eMigr8.ai. eMigr8 is spelled eMigr8.ai. You can chat with eMigr8.ai on WhatsApp at the moment. You can do that right now. If you go on the app as well, just click on chat with eMigr8.ai free. You can also chat with the bot there right now. We're really excited, and we continue to build this platform. In one of the coming open days, it was supposed to be today, but we eat a bit of a snag. We would actually have the AI coach speak to you, because at some point you would be able to have conversations about your journey with eMigr8.ai. Welcome to the new world. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for taking us through that. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call. We're officially now in the Q&A session. Buddy, come back. We're officially now in the question and answer section. And if you don't have your question in the chat at the moment, you're not doing yourself any good favor. So put your question in the chat. I see a lot of messages for Coach Chidima in the chat. Fantastic. You guys had a blast in this session, obviously. Coach Chidima, there's a lot of thank you on the chat, a lot of applause. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm happy that you connected well with the audience, right? Some of the questions you've answered already, but I would just ask them so that people that ask the question would not feel we ignored them. All right. So I'll ask them and kind of tie them together with other questions so that you can just speak to them generally. The first question. So guys, we have 20 minutes left on this session. So you want to put your questions in there so that we can answer them fast. All right. The first question is, kindly throw more light on the Global Talent Visa endorsement. Who did you apply to for the endorsement? That was the first question. Just hold that, because I know the answer is kind of straightforward. So just hold that first. Then the second question is, hello, how to be a global talent and achieve the global talent visa? What is the process? Coach Chidima explained the process. Buddy has also explained part of the process in this conversation. Is there any specific eMigr8 Bincom is there any specific thing, I guess, eMigr8 or Bincom can do? Can they provide endorsement for candidate? The only endorsing body is Technation for the digital technology part of Global Talent Visa. eMigr8 or Bincom cannot endorse you. What they can do is to make you globally attractive, to help you build a solid tech profile that will stand a chance of getting endorsement, or that gives you a chance of getting endorsed, right? So that's if you have specific question you want to ask, please use the chat and we can expatiate on that. So now the next question is, thank you for the detail. Can you list the documents needed to apply for Technation endorsement as a master student in the UK? Right. So I'll allow Coach Chidima just explain just a summary of what you need, because I know they have nuances. There are a lot of documents depending on what your master's is on, business or tech. So, but just speak to what you applied with, right? And also tell us who is the endorsing body. That was the first question, right? So if you can take those two questions, and I'll come back with the next set of questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so down to the first question, and thank you everyone. I really appreciate the feedback. And I hope at least to some extent the information was helpful. So the first question, the endorsement body that's relevant to people in the digital sector and tech is TechNation. So TechNation is the name of the endorsing body. There are several other pathways, culture and arts for people in culture and arts and education, I believe. But for me, the pathway that was relevant to me was digital and tech. So I applied to the Technician, which is the stage one of the global talent visa. So it comes in two stages. Stage one is the stage where you have to apply to get endorsed by an endorsing body. Once the endorsing body says, yes, this person is a global talent and they qualify as a global talent, then the second stage then begins. That's where you then apply to the UK immigrations to get your actual visa. I hope that answers the question. Then the second question of what were the documentations or the evidences that I provided? This is a long list. I mean, it's a long and short list. It depends on how you look at it, right? The UK requires, or that the process or the global talent requires that you provide evidences across various areas. One of the things that you need to provide is a 1,000 word or at least 999 word, maximum 1,000 word personal statement telling the UK why you need to be in the UK, what you plan to do when you're in the UK, just basically things that are talking about yourself, or a statement talking about yourself and why you need to be in the UK and justifying why you should get the visa. The other thing that you need is 3 recommendation letters that I mentioned earlier, specifically from people who are within the tech, who are influencers, so to speak, within the tech industry and can speak to the work that you have done and some of the evidences that you have provided or that you're providing. Then the other things that you need now are like evidences showing various aspects that you feel like you qualify for. For example, if you've applied as the CEO of a business, because that's the area that you qualify for, or you have applied for somebody, like in my case, where I led the commercial growth for product-led companies or companies within the technology industry. Things that I needed to provide include evidences of those growths that I spoke about, evidences of showing like how I progressed in that space, evidences that are relevant to the claims that I'm making. So if you're making a claim, for example, that you're the CEO of a tech business, you need to provide things like a documentation showing your business ownership and your ownership in that business, potentially your financials showing how far you've grown, the products that you've built, just basic evidences. For example, I was in commercial, and one of the things that I was able to provide also were evidences of the kind of businesses that I was able to attract to the various clients that I worked with, or the various employers rather that I worked with. I mean, it's a long list of evidence. I mean, it's a long and short list. I wouldn't say long to discourage anyone. But my point is, depending on what you choose or the categories that you choose to provide evidences against, that determines what you need to provide. Now, the more those evidences are, the higher your chances. For example, in my own case, I was able to provide evidences that met various criteria. I own a business that's based in Nigeria. That's also in digital marketing space. It's a digital marketing agency. I was able to provide evidences behind that. My master's degree, the evidences of the works that I claimed that I said I did in the UK, the evidences of the commercial growth that I drove. So these are evidences that standalone could have qualified an individual. But then I was able to bring them together because those are all of the information and all the things that I have. So I'm sure that eMigr8 will share the link to find more information about what you need to provide. And then you can go through it. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to support you or provide more clarity where there's need.
All
I
right.
hope that answers it.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. And I would also direct you to go to, I mean, person that asked the question, to go to technation.io. There's a list of the criteria there, right? There are 5 criteria, optional criteria. You're supposed to provide evidence against 3 of such, but there are also mandatory criteria that you need to, for example, she spoke about referencing 3 people that can write you a recommendation letter, your CV, your purpose of intent letter. Those are, mandatory criteria that you must submit. Then you'd have to look at things like, innovation, leadership, recognition. Those are optional criteria that you can apply against. You are allowed to submit at least 3, not at least, yeah, up to 3 evidence or more than 3 evidence against each of those criteria. So feel free, you can apply. You can add documentations just to support your narration or your storytelling Right. Okay, fantastic. So I have brought Buddy to the conversation now because the next question is going to go to Buddy. Right. Buddy, I'm going to join two questions together. This first question is, can you speak on which is best to apply for between the exceptional talent or the exceptional promise as a tech business owner with reasonable years of working with remote companies in the US, Canada, and Ireland? So let me take that first. So you can answer that first because the next question speaks directly to another visa path.
Oh, okay then. So exceptional talent and exceptional promise, that's on the UK Global Talent Visa.
Yeah.
If you have more than 5 years experience in the field of tech, you can only be considered under the exceptional talent route. If you have less than 5 years of experience, then you have the option of either exceptional promise or exceptional talent. However, when I said experience, I mean experience in the field of digital technology, whether the technical side or the business side. So for example, if you have been a lawyer for 10 years, then you switch to legal tech in your 11th year of experience, and you apply in your 14th year of experience for the UK Global Talent Visa, the relevant experience in tech there is just 3 years. So you can be considered as exceptional promise. If you've, however, been a developer for 15 years, or you've been in the technical side of technology or even the business side of tech for 15 years as a product manager, you can only be assessed as exceptional talent. The difference between the two visas practically is that with exceptional talent, you are just 3 years to ILR. ILR is indefinite leave to remain, which is the permanent residency in the UK. And after an extra 1 year, as long as you've been in the UK for 5 years, after an extra 1 year, you will get British citizenship. But with the exceptional promise route, you have 5 years to indefinitely leave to remain. And then after your next 1 year, which is your 6th year, you become a British citizen at that point. So those are the main differences between the two. Exceptional promise says that you are a potential talent in the field of digital technology. Exceptional talent says you are already a talent in the field of digital technology. Moody, did I capture that question?
Yes, you did. The next question is actually for you also. This is someone that is currently in the UK and is asking, how do I start with the US EB2NW visa? You want to speak to that, buddy?
Yes. So we on the eMigr8 platform. So how do you start with the USEB2NIW? First thing is understand what the requirements are. So just go online, Google EB2NIW. One of the things that will come up is the USCIS website where you get the details of the requirements. Next step is go also on eMigr8 app. We have a free resource, an open day just like this one, over 2 hours, that details the US EB2 route for you. That gives a lot of information with some of our coaches. Of course, those information is general, but it gives good information for you to get started. It's directly on the app. You get access to that resource under the indication of interest resources. That resource is free. If you want to take it further, you could also send your CV into the platform for us to assess to say how good is your profile. And you could also get on coaching sessions for us to take a quick look, and we are able to give you direction on what you need to do. On our platform, we have relationship with lawyers and organizations that have a 100% success rate on these routes. 100%. I didn't say 99.9%. But the reason why they have that success rate is that they screen the people they work with for applying for the route. So if you are not qualified, they don't even touch you at all. So what we do with the eMigr8 platform is we get you to the point when you are qualified, and then we're able to introduce you to our partners who would walk through the journey for you. If you're interested in the premium route, that is. If you're interested in the free route, that which is the do-it-yourself route, DIY, because it's possible for you to apply yourself. We don't advise you to apply yourself for EB2NIW. We don't advise you to apply yourself, just to say, but it's possible for you to do so. We would also give you some support to help.
All right. Thank you very much. So we'll bring Coach Chidima to the conversation now. Right. We have a question, and the person is asking, please, what is your advice, Coach Chidima, for a data scientist whom has basically theoretical experience and foreign trained certificates, all right, I think in data analysis, right? And the person is asking, what is your advice for them if they are considering, I guess, the global talent visa?
Okay, thank you for the question. First and foremost, before I answer that question, I would like to say this is not immigration advice. I am not an immigration advisor, and I
Yeah.
don't plan to become one. However, having said that, I think that being a data scientist on its own puts you several steps closer to the global talent visa, especially if you're looking at the digital sector. I think the other thing that needs to be considered or you didn't put in place or put in the question is, for example, how long you have theoretically practiced data science and what your plans are for data science post theory or theoretical experience. Now, the reason I've said that is because if you've gained that skill just for the knowledge sake, then perhaps what you then need to do is to start actioning on that skill. One of the things that you can potentially do is, number one, I've answered the question. The direct question is you're several steps closer to global talent, but then you need to put action behind that theory. And one of the ways or best practices or ways that I've found a lot of people is you need to start working. It doesn't really matter if it's paid job. If you have a full-time job that is in another area, you can start thinking about doing things that are like volunteering or part-timing or interning, things that help you get your hands dirty, not theoretically, but get your hands involved in the actual practice of data science. Now, doing that then starts to prepare you in the sense that it helps you start to build a record and a portfolio. And those are some of the things you would need eventually when you apply. When you apply, it's not enough to say, oh, I have a degree in data science or I have a diploma in data science. Part of what they want to be able to see is if you have the required skill. Note the key word here is skill, the required skill set to be able to add value to the UK economy. And the only way you can confidently show skill is not in the knowledge that you have in your head, it's just what you've been able to do with that knowledge. Those are the key points. So being able to practically do something with the knowledge that you've acquired puts you several or even more steps closer. And the more of those things you do, the more evidences you gather. It can be things as volunteering, like I said, being able to support a project or do things that helped achieve specific results. The more you're able to do those things, the closer you get to being more qualified for global talent. But just being a data scientist alone puts you several steps closer than the beginner. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right. Someone is accusing me of skipping their question. I did not actually skip your question because you addressed the questions to Coach Chidima, but Coach Bade is more suited to answer that question because it's an eMigr8 question at the end of the day. So I'm just going to take the question now that Bade is back. So please, how can a Nigerian already living in the UK get a Tier 2 visa using eMigr8 options within the shortest possible time? So, Coach Bade, that's
Sure. So Tier 2 visa is the UK skilled worker visa. And what you need to be able to get that visa is you need to land a job that will offer you work sponsorship in the UK. That's what you need to do. And so the question you're actually asking is, how do I land such a job? And there's a method to that process as well. We have a free resource that can help you get started. It's video 1D on the eMigr8 platform under indication of interest resources. And it's a 2-hour session that takes you through the journey of you being ready to apply, ready for new opportunities, to the point when you land a role, and that will give you sponsorship. That journey goes from being ready to apply to when you start being visible to technical recruiters and you start putting your applications. You need to make sure your application is getting through what is called the applicant tracking system. You want to make sure that in that journey, you go on to the steps of you being able to start talking to technical recruiters, 15 minutes conversation, to when you start getting actual conversations with the hiring manager to the point where you do your second interview and so on. For every one of these stages, there are ways in which you can optimize your chances. For example, if you are ready for new opportunities and you're not getting recruiters reaching out to you, maybe once a month, it used to be like, I will have said once every week before, but the job market is a bit slower at this point. So I need to mention that publicly. It's slower, but still you would get technical recruiters reaching out to you once a month, twice a month, and so on. If that's not happening for you, that's a problem already to start with. There are things you need to do to optimize your profile at that point. And then there are several other things you can do. If you are submitting applications and you're not getting calls at all, there's something wrong. You need to fix that, right? Such that when you submit application, your chances are better. You need to apply when the day the job comes out, for example. There are several things you can do along those lines to help your chances. But the long and short of it is for you to be able to land that role that will come with work sponsorship. I'll tie it to the last question answered as well. 3 key things is you need to have the right skills, you need to have the right experience, you need to have the right exposure. Skilled worker visa is not available for you if you are if you're a beginner. You are not skilled worker at that point. So what you need to do is within the shortest possible time, you want to move from beginner level to intermediate level. In some cases, you may want to look at roles in which you already have transferable skills. So if you grew up in Nigeria like I did, you would have done business analysis. That's if you worked in Nigeria, for example. You would have done business analysis. You may not know it was called business analysis, but you will have done that because with many developing economies, they like having generalists. So you are everything in your department. Meanwhile, in the UK, they want specialists. If you say you are a business analyst, that's different from a project manager. That's different from a product manager. That's different from a scrum master or an ADL and so on. And so you will need to sort of optimize your profile, optimize your chances, optimize your career. The free resources are there, but if you need additional help, if you need premium coaching, we do have a premium option as well available to you on the platform. Hopefully I touched properly on the question, Moody.
Yes, you did, and you've answered several other questions on the chat already. But thank you very much. I will come back to you when you say if you're a beginner, you're not qualified for skilled worker visa, right?
I was going to mention that within 3 months you can become intermediates. I forgot to mention that. So
Okay,
if you're a
please.
beginner, you are not qualified, but within 3 months you can actually show yourself as intermediate in many fields of technology, particularly if you have transferable skills.
Okay, that 3-month caveat will help a lot of us because you just throw us all out of the chat as a beginner. But yeah, it's good to know that we have a lifeline somewhere there that we can explore. All right. So I'll come back to Coach Chidima now. Right. This question, we have 2 questions from someone is asking, as a startup co-founder and a programmer that has developed products, not revenue-driven, but knowledge-driven, for startup and for other startups. All right. Yeah, he's asking, am I qualified? Is he qualified? He's a founder, he's a startup founder, and he's also a programmer that has developed products. Maybe they are not profit-driven, they're not profitable yet. So he said it's not revenue-driven, but it's knowledge-driven, or he has built product for knowledge-based institution. Right. If you're the one to ask this question, please just tell us these products. Do you have users? Is there return users? What's the download? How many people have downloaded it so that we can tell if this product is something that we can speak to. But he has also built a startup and he has also worked for other startups. So he's asking if he's qualified. And I'm going to ask the second question just to put them together because I think they are similar. The question is an IT project manager that has delivered products within companies in Nigeria and in the UK. Does that person qualify? So founder or co-founder, that's a programmer, IT project manager who has delivered products within companies in the UK and in Nigeria. Can they qualify for the Global Talent Visa? With Chidima.
Okay. My usual caveat, this is not immigration advice and this is not an endorsement review. This is just my opinion of what I think in terms of the question asked. First, starting with the founder who has developed products that are more knowledge focused and not revenue based. I would say just listening to that, there are two factors or 2 points you need to like have at the back of your mind when you think about yourself as a potential global talent. The first is impact, right? So the impact in this case can be either revenue wise or social impact. It doesn't necessarily have to be money driven. It can be social impact. The second thing that you need to think about is the numbers, the evidences that you're able to provide to back that impact that you claim you have made. So just speaking about impact, you have your product is the focus of your product rather is to be able to deliver knowledge in what areas, and are you able to show how much impact in terms of how much knowledge you've been able to impact, deliver through your products in those areas where you're focused on. Are those areas somehow directly or indirectly linked to digital tech? For example, is it a product that is an app? And if the product is an app, what your product does it also help build the ecosystem or somewhat impacts the ecosystem directly or indirectly? When I say directly or indirectly, it doesn't have to be a product that helps teach developers how to develop better. It can be a product that helps other people understand how technology works. It can be a product, just basically something that ties it back to the digital tech and the impacts that you have made. Secondly, do you now have the numbers? So that comes down to what he said earlier about the numbers. Do you have the numbers to show? Do you have evidences to show or to prove that impact? I'll give you a typical life example. One of the evidences that I provided was a video of an interview, something similar to this that I had. So it was an event where I spoke to young people about growing your career in the corporate world in the sales and marketing industry. It was organized by a church, and the turn up was more than 100 people thereabouts. And during that session, one of the things that I think the social media team of the church did was encourage people to hashtag the events just to like make the event a bit viral. Now, it's a church, remember, so it doesn't have anything to do with tech. But then I spoke about tech and how young people can leverage the power of tech to grow their career, but focusing a bit more on social media. So that made it relevant to tech. And the fact that I could show evidence of people who actually attended the event, either through the feedback, the hashtag, the flyers, and even the information in terms of the registration data that the church was able to provide, that served as evidence enough for me in that particular scenario. Now, that's just using that as an example to say that once you have those two things at the back of your mind, impact, and then your ability to provide the evidence and linking them all back to digital tech, then you should be on the right path to global talent. The second question, I think I've spoken so much that I forgot the second question. Yeah, the second question is about somebody in project management.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So in IT project management, I think it's similar as well, right? Whether you have worked with a startup or a growth stage business, I think what's more important is number one, how many years, because that determines whether or not you even qualify in the first place. If you haven't practiced for up to 3 years, then the chances of you qualifying might be slightly lower because the criteria requires that you have to be at least 3 years to qualify for exceptional promise, right? Secondly, the other thing you need to think about is how many projects have you worked on? Again, you don't have to be the project manager. You don't even have to be the project owner. As long as you have participated and worked in a project that was delivered and was able to show impact, value to the organization that you worked for, whether it's a startup or a business, and you can provide the evidence, right? So again, regardless of what it is, the evidence can even be a simple thing as an email from your CEO saying, oh, guys, well done. This product that you launched, I think is amazing. Da, 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 da. That could be an evidence of a product that you supported and went live. Da, 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 da. You know the story. I'm not tech, so I can't tell you better than you know. But my point is, yes, you can qualify if you meet the criteria that is required, starting with the years of experience, then going into the impacts that your claim had, and obviously the evidences that you have to back them up. I see that Buddy has come back on video, so I'm sure he has something to say. But I hope that answers the question.
I think you've done justice to the question. I think that answered the question. There are a lot of questions for Buddy actually, right?
Can I just add one thing to that one? Just the importance of the evidence. Chidima has said it many times, but it's just to say to the community, you need to also be conscious about your evidence. One of the challenges that we see very often is, oh, I did this fantastically great thing in my former company, but I've left that company now. I don't have access to the email address. I don't talk to the people in that company anymore. I don't have access to those evidence. And so, yes, there's this fantastic thing on the internet that works very well and is looking really good, but nothing ties you to that achievement. It can't just be a letter from the CEO of the organization alone. There has to be other things as well. So just think about that. And that's why it's important that if you're on this journey, be conscious of what you would need now that you are aware. And if you need to start putting things together, start compiling them gradually as you're on the journey. I just wanted to mention that. And also to say that on eMigr8 platform, we don't offer immigration advice nor legal advice. We partner with lawyers and immigration consultants. If you need it, we can refer you to them. But on this platform, we don't offer immigration or legal advice. So just to say, everything we're saying is from our experience, and it's us sharing from what we know and the knowledge that is available to us. Back to you, Modi.
All right. Since we're all giving disclaimer, I need to put my own disclaimer that all the information I'm sharing is not legal advice. Thank you very much, guys.
I thought that disclaimer was for everything.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for shedding more light, buddy. Right. It's important to know that if you're on this journey, you have to do research for yourself. You have to study. You have to put the applications together, and we have people that can guide you. This is just information that can guide you, right? But you ultimately have to write your story. Like Coach Chidima said, nobody can tell your story better than you can tell your story. So you have to put your story together with all these informations that you are getting. All right, you have to put it together. And I just want to give a shout out to someone on the chat, the CEO of Enterprise CEO Media House, the chief editor of Enterprise CEO Media, Sheye Joseph, is in the chat. You guys can connect with him. He's an editor. He put out a lot of publication around tech. And so you want to get to know him and you want to get to connect with people like that in the chat. So connect with him and use that connection wisely. All right, buddy. When you were gone, there were a lot of questions waiting for you. All right, and I would just take one question. Buddy anticipating. I would just read. I'm trying to merge questions together. One easy one. Can eMigr8 provide recommendation letter, not endorsement letter? Recommendation letter. Can eMigr8 provide recommendation letter? That's one. Hold that thought. The next one is, how can eMigr8 help someone interested in data analysis or data analyst or data science become globally visible and possibly relocate?
All right. For recommendation letter for the UK Global Talent Visa, your recommender has to know you and know your work for a minimum of 1 year. That's the requirement. So if some of the mentors and members and coaches and members of the community in eMigr8 know you and know your work for at least 1 year, it is possible to get a recommendation letter. But you won't just appear and say somebody will just fabricate a recommendation letter for you. We don't do that here. Sorry.
But hold that thought. I thought the rule is you have to have worked with somebody for 1 year before the person can recommend you.
Not necessarily worked with the person.
Okay.
You
Have
know,
a relationship with the person for at
you
least 1
must
year.
have a relationship. So in your recommendation letter, we've put a blog post on the platform for this so that it could also help. In the recommendation letter, the recommender needs to explain that relationship. So if you were friends from work and then you guys have connected, I know you have to talk about it. You could have met at an event, or you could have mentored together, maybe other startups. There are several scenarios, but the key thing is they need to know you and know your work for at least 1 year. So the question of you just appear and then somebody will just write a recommendation letter, we don't do that here, and we don't advise you to do that either. What we do here is, first of all, be globally attractive, and we will be able to work with you, coach you If you don't have those relationships today, there are ways in which you can start building those relationships. But I dare to say to you that some of those relationships, you already have them. You may just need to think deep.
Or reconnect with them. Yeah,
Or
because
reconnect as well.
yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, relationships, documentation. These are some of the keywords you need to take away from today. So whoever is recommending you actually needs to know your work or have followed your work. So they don't have to have worked with you, but they need to be familiar with what you're doing enough to speak about it. Because part of what might come out of some of the endorsement is that if technician feels like it, they can contact your recommender and ask for a few more detail. And I mean, if somebody who doesn't know you has written your recommendation letter, how then do they speak about you when they get contacted? Think about it.
All right. Thank you very much. We have 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes before we let our coaches go. Right. And if you're on this call to this point, you've won yourself a free 10-minute coaching session with coaches in the eMigr8 network. All right. How do you access that free coaching session? Just join any of the eMigr8 platform, any of the eMigr8 community, WhatsApp, Telegram. Those are the preferred ones for this particular one. And say to them, you were part of the January 15th open day session, and the administrator on those channels are going to put you on the calendar to speak to a coach. It's a 10-minute question consulting session. What I ask is that you use this wisely, read about the visa that you are exploring, then come to this session with specific answer, right? Or specific questions that you need answers to, because it's 10 minutes. So you don't have a lot of time to explain long journeys, right? But it's a free coaching session for 10 minutes. Take advantage of that. I'm going to be asking the last set of questions. Thank you, everyone. If you have questions, you can drop it. We'll take the questions to the community and answer them within the community, right? If you have further question, but we just have 5 more minutes, now 4 more minutes, all right, to do this. And I'm just going to compile questions together. Coach Chidima, let me ask you this one.
Sounds like a tough one.
It it does. I'm trying to put it together. So let's try. So I have a 6 years experience in research for drone technology, but now I have transitioned into software engineering with 6 month experience. 6 months. I'm qualified. I am qualified for promising talent. Am I qualified for promising talent? That's the first question. Can I start the process and be successful if there are any limitations or requirements? So this person, let me just summarize, has 6 years experience in research for drones, 6 years. All right. But has transitioned into software with 6 month experience in software engineering. Now he's asking, do I qualify for Promise, right, as global talent, the Promise category, right, or exceptional Promise category, or can I start the process, and what are the limitations we see and what are the requirements he should be looking at?
I think I would need somewhere in between this. I would need buddies support, but then I think the question comes in 2 ways, and I would try to answer it in 2 forms. The first one is you have experience in research, which means that potentially you could qualify for another stream of the global talent visa, which is the research side, which is not digital tech, but more research focused. But then again, because your experience is bordered around drone technology, which again can be linked to technology or digital tech, depending on how you or what you have done. I don't have the full picture of what you have done, and I don't understand how drone technology works, to be honest. But if there's a direct relationship between it and digital tech, it could also qualify you as a digital tech talent. However, just relying on your 6 months experience, now that you've pivoted away from that, if that's what you're asking about, or if that's the basis for which you've based your question, now that you have pivoted and you have 6 months experience, can you now qualify off the back of your 6 months experience? The direct answer to that question is no, because first and foremost, you haven't met the 3 years minimum requirement, minimum work experience requirements you need to apply for the exceptional promise category. However, if we look at it holistically, and your experience as a researcher, regardless of the fact that you're researching in drone technology, has a direct relationship with digital tech, you just might have qualified for the exceptional talent if you meet the other criteria. However, if that's not the case, then there's another stream called the stream for researchers where you could also potentially qualify. So there's an opportunity for two pathways, but just relying on your 6 months experience, unfortunately, does not bring you close to, or does not like qualify you for exceptional promise, if that answers the question.
Yeah, that does. So, but you
I'll
want
just take it
okay.
from where Chidima stopped to say what you should be doing now may also be start figuring out how you can use your existing experience in drone, add it to software, and build some sort of robotic AI for robots, physical AI, all of those kinds of things that is now modern technology. But you can't just build it theoretically. You actually need real life users using it. But that could become innovation that you can point at to say, I'm not just 6 months software developer. I'll have all of these experience that would be valuable to the UK economy, and you just may get endorsed because of that, the way your experience comes together for the future of AI, for example.
Yeah, and I don't want you to take for granted the first thing Coach Chidima said, which is if you have 6 years experience in research, right, you want to look at the global talent visa for the research for academia, right? And if you have a lot of publication in that field, if you publish a lot of papers, and you have a lecturer, a senior professor that can write an endorsement letter, it's a good option for you to explore. So that's why I was thinking about the question before asking it, really, because you have a lot of experience in the field that also gives global talent visa. So don't limit your options to just digital technology since you just have 6 months experience. But of course, there are transferable skill set, like Buddy said, and you can leverage on those to build a profile that you can apply with. All right. Buddy, this question is for you, and I don't know how you're going to answer all of them. All right. What is the minimum? So what does the premium package? Does the premium package help you prepare both EB2 and UK Tech visa? So you have options. That's one question. The second question, what are the courses you offer for beginners? Or what are the courses you offer that a beginner may consider? So those are the last set of questions I have for Buddy. Oh, there's one question I skipped because I was trying to figure it out. I'm on dependent visa. My partner is a nurse, but I want to relocate to the US. That's about it too. Actually, mine is in the UK, so we have to direct the US questions to you.
Okay,
So those
fair
3
enough.
questions. Yeah.
So the first question was eMigr8 Premium. One of the packages on the platform is called eMigr8 Premium. It's a 6 months to 1 year journey that we sort of handled you for that period of time towards a certain goal. And that goal can be both UK Global Talent and US O1 visa. Technically speaking, if you qualify for the UK Global Talent visa, you are likely going to qualify for the US O1 visa. However, US O1 visa requires a few more documentation, and those have to be printed out actually than the UK Global Talent visa. But if you qualify for one, you qualify for the other. But you ask for US EB visa. A pathway to the EB visa for you could be get the O1 visa first, and then you move on to EB1 after a year on the O1 visa. There's a pathway like that that we can coach you on in terms of on the platform. Some people also can just go straight to the EB1 or EB2. So EB1 is higher than EB2 as well. You would understand a few more if you just look at the resources on the platform. That's the first question. Second question, what are some of the areas, knowledge tracks that we have on the platform? We have several on the platform. We've dropped a link. So if you just check the Global Tech Program, we are partnered with the Bincom Global Tech Program because Bincom also incubated eMigr8. eMigr8 is now becoming its own standalone company. And we're really excited about that. I haven't seen any question on eMigr8 AI. I hope there will be at least one question on eMigr8 AI as well. But you'll find a number of those courses on the Bincom Global Tech Program. So backend development, either with PHP or C#, data science with Python. You'll find things like the PMO track with Agile and business analysis. You would find the likes of the UI, UX, product design track, and there are several different tracks that you can pick from. But those are the tracks available today. We're also working on adding more tracks onto the platform like cybersecurity and so on. But then aside from the Bincom program, there are also other programs you can take a look at as well. But the key point is ensure that you have a roadmap for yourself. That roadmap should not just be about you learning skills. Ensure that that roadmap also gives you experience. And also, and this is important if you are looking at the UK Global Talent Visa, ensure that that roadmap also gives you exposure. I should also mention that on the eMigr8 platform as of today, we currently focus on tech visas, right? There are several other visa opportunities out there for talent, not just the tech talent visas. There are a few others. So we mentioned one of them here, answering one of the questions, to say, aside from the UK Global Talent Visa in the field of digital technology, which is also known as the Tech Nation Visa, there are other UK Global Talent Visa for fashion, for art, and so on, and then for research. So with the field of engineering, you could go to the Royal Academy of Engineering to get endorsed. We are not yet specialized on it on this platform. We are working on bringing on coaches that will specialize in those areas in the coming year. But just to mention that as well upfront. Moody, there was a third question. I've forgotten it.
So the third question is
The nurse. What was the question for the nurse?
yeah. So, but I want to tie that question because I saw another question now that we
Okay.
skipped because that question is asking for how to relocate to the US also.
Okay.
He said, I have tech background in Nigeria. I'm a dependent in the UK, currently doing masters in AI.
Yeah.
I want to get a role in AI to be globally attractive. Tell me more about your premium service for the US. And the nurse question is, I'm a dependent visa. My partner is a nurse, but I want to relocate to the US. So both of them are asking for
About the US.
about the US. Yeah.
So there are three pathways we currently have on the platform for the US, and we are working on adding more. But at the moment on the platform, we have the US O1 visa, which is the visa for individuals with extraordinary ability. We have the US EB2 visa and the EB2 NIW, which is the visa that for the person that mentioned that masters in AI. Once you finish your masters, you are likely, and you have some work experience before you did the masters, you are likely going to already be qualified for the US and US EB2 NIW. Hopefully Donald Trump doesn't change policy in the next 6 days, but as of today, that is the case. But of course, you have to tell your story correctly so that you are able to get your case assessed that you are qualified. And then the third one of the three is the US EB1 visa. Those are the three that we currently have support very closely on the platform. We talk about all the other options, H1B, which is a lottery to a large extent, so there's no guarantee per se, but of course you need to land a job before you even get into the lottery and so on. But yes, in terms of all those three that I've mentioned, we have resources free of charge on the app that you can drill down into, usually a 2-hour video such like this that gives you a lot of information about that route. If you want more, you can also get some free coaching and some premium coaching on the platform for this. The person that was asking that, tell me about the premium, was the premium offering. It would depend on what you need. The way the platform is structured, it is personalized coaching. No two individuals are the same. So we do sessions like this where we give general information, but if you then need something specific, it's easier to do a one-to-one session. Some of that is free. Moody has mentioned how you can get an extra free session as well on the platform, but it's easier to discuss that on a one-to-one basis because our packages start from free, which is what 80% of people on the platform use, up to £75,000 of investment. So we don't know where you fall in that category really. And so it's best for us to have a conversation. Based on that conversation, we'll be able to give you as much information as possible. As you can probably tell from this platform, and that's why we're building the AI, so we can support thousands of people as well at the same time. We want to help, right? Every coach on the platform are trying to help as well. And that's
All
why
right.
they're
All right.
giving. Thank you.
All right, buddy. I want you to, this is the first 40 seconds, basically. How can eMigr8 help someone interested in data analyst and data scientist? I thought we answered this question. Become globally visible and possibly relocate. How many months will it take to achieve this feat on your package? That was for Buddy. The person is
We
asking.
don't know, do a coaching session, and that coaching session will help you find out. It's short 10 minute session will help you find out. But learn skill, gain experience, gain exposure. We can help with all three on the platform.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. Whatever you do, guys, do quick. Donald is coming. All right. And
He's already here, guys.
so, so do quick if you're interested in the US. If you're interested in global talent visa, please also do quick because the endorsing body, Global Talent Visa Digital Technology, will be getting a new endorsing body this week. We don't expect much to change, but definitely there will be new introductions, right, to add to the criteria of what is obtainable today. So you want to put in your application quickly. If you're already on the path, if you're gathering your documentation, you want to do that quickly since we already know the stages. Right. Currently, the global talent visa takes two processes. The first process is just to apply for endorsement. Once you get the endorsement, you now move over to home office to apply for your visa. Usually, they give up to 5 years visa, and but they have explained that you can get indefinite leave to remain within 5 years or after 5 years, depending on the category you're coming through, and you can get citizenship a year after getting that and indefinite leave to remain. So thank you very much. All right, we have less than a minute to go. Right, I'm going to go to Coach Chidima and say, give us your advice to people in the room. So typically we have 3 or 5 sets of people in the room. Actually, we have beginners who are in the room who are wondering, I'm about to start my master's. Should I be looking at global talent visa? I have experience in this field and I'm trying to translate it to tech. We also have people that are intermediates already. They're already in tech, right? They're already building stuff, but they are not yet convinced that they will qualify for global talent visa. Those category of people are also on the call. You can tell from the questions that they ask, right? Then we have the C-level executive who are, they have everything. They're just looking for, what is the benefit to you to kind of motivate them? How is it beneficial to their next step in their career? So if you could speak to those 3 people on the just an advice before we call it a day today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'll try to make this 1 minute. So for people who are inexperienced, I think my key points would be, first and foremost, I like to say this to everyone: you can grow wherever you are. So don't try to pressure yourself too much. Whatever you are and whatever you're growing towards, just make sure that your growth is documentable and it's something that you can reference back towards when you need to. Now, if you're inexperienced and you're thinking about where to begin, just so you know, from me coming from a commercial background, but being very visible and present in tech, I can tell you for a fact that there's potential in tech. So if you're thinking about tech and you find it interesting, the key word is you find it interesting enough to invest your career in, then go for it. And you don't have to be a developer, an engineer to actually thrive in tech. There are various aspects of tech that you can also thrive in without necessarily being a core tech person. And for people who are like in the intermediate space, is that the second category of people? Thinking about doing your master's and what you should do. I guess I'm a case study, like you can see. But I think also taking the bull by the horn and doing things early. So one of the things I always say to everyone who I have spoken to about immigration is that every pathway you find online today that we have shown or that has been shown on those sheets, every pathway at some point or the other reaches a deadline, right? And once that deadline ends, whether it's a time-based deadline or a number-based deadline, once the deadline reaches, that's the end of it. You have to wait till another pathway. Think about Express Entry and several years ago when it was booming, and now it feels like it's shutting down gradually. Now, when you think about that, know that the time to start is today. Whatever it is you need to do in terms of moving along that journey, it's important that you begin today. Try not to put it away as much as possible. Invest as much time as you need to. Like I said, I was a mom, a full-time wife. No, not a full-time wife, sorry. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I was a full-time career person leading a whole country as a country manager. And I was still studying full-time and still managed to get around these things. So you can do it if you just invest a bit of time in it. And for people who are corporate executives who are thinking about the next best thing, I feel like if you have already achieved a level of success or a certain level of success in life and you're just looking for what's next, you're probably thinking about it from a place of a settlement or from just a place of hedging your future self or hedging yourself like with a second or a backup. A lot of people I have met, especially within that C-level space, all they think about when they think about immigration is just having a backup. It could be a backup passport, a backup country, a backup investment. Think about this as a window or immigration as an opportunity or window that helps open you up to investment opportunities across the world, or at least in those countries of interest where you have them, without the limitations that your current location presents you. Think about it as an opportunity to also hedge yourself against future uncertainties, if you know what I mean. This is a recorded session, so I wouldn't talk about the uncertainties that I'm referring to. Anyway, long story short, I feel like I earned the return on investment for my investment even before I made the investment in my master's or my MBA. And that's because I took those actionable steps. Finally, skill, not occupation. Your occupation is not relevant. What's relevant is your skill. So build skill, not occupation. If you're a banker and that's what you describe yourself as, I'm sorry to say this, but as far as global talent is concerned, if your job title says banker and that's all you describe yourself as, what you have is an occupation, not a skill. What you now need to start thinking about is how you can build a skill around banking, if that makes sense. I hope with this few points of mine, I've been able to not pressure you too much, but inspire you, like I always say. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for there's a couple of things that you've reiterated in your session today. One of them is documenting your process. And particularly like the last one you said, skills, building your skill sets is very important. I wasn't thinking about it the way you brought it in. You know, your occupation is not your skill. Interested, right? Being a banker is not your skill, it's your occupation. So you need to
Yeah.
build a skill that makes you exceptional at being a banker. And that is what countries that offer talent visas will look at and invite you to their ecosystem, right? But do you have any advice, final word for us? Right, we've gone far beyond
Okay,
our
over
time.
time. And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Chidima. I see that as well. Final word, I'll just talk to two other categories of people on the eMigr8 platform. If you're in the UK, particularly since we're speaking about the UK today, and you are not yet on a pathway to settlement, one of the things that you should be doing is start thinking about what your next steps will be. From time to time, we see people showing up on the platform. They have 2 weeks to go before their visa expires, and then they haven't built the relevant skill, the relevant experience, the relevant roadmap, and so on. They had 1 year, maybe 2 years, and so on to do that, but they didn't, whether because they didn't know or time just caught up with them. Whichever way, what I would advise is you know what the next step will be. You know what the visa would be or the visas that you are targeting. Start taking the step towards that visa now. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till the requirement changes against you. Start taking the actionable steps today. For those that are already qualified, we would say to you that check out the eMigr8 platform. We have a number of offerings that is available. We run a freemium model. And so if you're on a DIY journey, do it yourself journey, we have a number of packages for you. We have technology that can help you with eMigr8 Task, with the eMigr8 app, with the AI platform that we were talking to you about today. And we also have premium options as well available for you. The key point is that we would like to help How can we help? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach Chidima. Thank you, Coach Bade. Thank you for your time. All right. This evening, we have learned a lot. And I will just say to everybody on the call, remember, knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. So take all this information that you've gotten today and start building, start putting your data together, start documenting your experiences, start building the relevant skill sets, developing your skill set, right? And make us remember this session to say, January 15th, 2025, I joined this session, and that's when I made up my mind to apply for the Global Talent Visa, and I'm now in the UK. Those are the kind of testimonials that we want to celebrate, but we also want to work with you on that journey, so you can join any of the eMigr8 platform and connect with the coaches. You've won yourself a free coaching session. You can use that coaching session to ask specific question as regard any of the package or any of the routes that you're exploring. So thank you very much for your time. We're going to do this again in another fortnight. So pay attention to our social media handles, pay attention to our website, our app. We're going to put publications out there, letting you know which of the visa route we are going to be discussing, right? Do well to share the link with your friends, share the link with anyone you know that is on this journey or that is exploring this journey. The reason why a lot of people are paying huge school fees is because they don't have this information. And what we're trying to do with an open day like this is to share this information to as many people as possible, to give them the opportunity, all right, to land in their dream country, land their dream job, and don't have to pay so much money in getting into another kind of geography or destination. So thank you very much for paying this forward, for pushing the link to somebody else, and for starting your own journey, right? Thank you. We are going to say goodbye now to Bade. We're going to say goodbye now to Coach Chidima. Thank you guys for your time today. Thank you. Coach Chidima, would like to have you again on our platform. If you can share your LinkedIn profile on the platform so that people that are on the call that want to connect with you, they can and maybe you can use the next 1 minute to tell us what you do and how we can support. By the way, that's our tradition. What do you do, Coach Chidima, on the side? Are you building any project? Do you need testers? Do you need supporters? Do you need people that can
Okay.
test your product for you? We have
I
people.
was going to say how you can support. Give me money. Of course, I introduced myself as an Igbo girl earlier, so
Yes.
it makes sense. But anyways, that's on the side. So for those who don't know me, like I said, through the process, I have a background in sales and marketing across multiple industries. But just speaking about skills and occupation, like I said earlier, I started my career in sales, and practically nearly most of the things I did in Nigeria was selling. But all through that, I built a skill around digital marketing. And guess what? In the last 4 or 5 years that I've been in the UK, digital marketing is actually the area that I've thrived most. So today I work with different organizations, but I've worked both agency side and direct client side, managing various digital marketing, both as a leader, as a team member, and in the near future as a director, but around the paid media digital marketing space. So in terms of what I do, I'm a digital marketing person, or expert or professional, whatever you choose to call me, who has experience both client side, and if you understand what that means, and agency side marketing. And that's basically what I do today. I do that from a consulting standpoint, where I still work with businesses in Nigeria to help them grow from a digital standpoint. But I also practice that in the UK with employers, agencies, and various businesses that I partner with to grow their businesses digitally.
All right, fantastic. So if you're looking for an expert digital marketer, all right, or digital professional or a consultant in the digital marketing space, right, Coach Chidima is the person to connect to. I'm sure you have a name. You can just search her on LinkedIn and connect with her. Thank you very much for your time. We do hope we can do this in the near future, right, and talk
Thank you.
different conversation. Thank you very much. Coach Badi has dropped his LinkedIn profile on the chat. So for those of you that want to connect with him and keep testing out the AI products, right? Connect with Coach Badi. If you're in the AI space, he's a CTO in his right. So he has a lot of technical opportunities that he can share with you and information he can share with you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for spending the time and investing this time today on your journey and in your future. So we are looking forward to working with you. We are looking forward to sharing in your testimonials, right, and celebrating with you when you get across to your final destination. Thank you very much, and do have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.